Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Monday 1st of August. So we're looking at this A wave here, then a B wave and a C wave, and this particular move that's moving up from this last low here, we're going to look at that as wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So when we have a look at US stocks, just to give you a bit of an idea, we're heading up to wave A or wave 1 here. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1,000 ticks here. So we're looking for the top of blue wave 3, then 4, and then 5 to finish off this trend to the upside. That's the same with the Nasdaq and the S&P and a whole lot of other stocks. So with that in mind, if we just go to the 4-hour chart, it will give you a bit of an idea of what we're looking at. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish off here. That can go higher up into 7, 2 here probably, and coming back into Apple here for a moment, because Apple's quite central to the markets over there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here to finish off. So that's what we're looking at here. So we're looking at 3, 4 and 5 to finish off. So we'll look at this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 and 2, and then 3, 4 and 5 here. So we're at the 7,000. So as you can imagine, the market's going to sit here for a while above and below that area. So let's just have a closer look at that here. So on the 1-hour chart, we could start looking at retracement levels here to the 38.2% or the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, which is in here. So we could just take that I'll bring that right across here, because there's a couple of wave 4s that we'll be working with here for all of this. And yeah, so it's going to be a little bit tricky in its own way. It won't be good trading, put it that way, unless you can nail that wave 4 here, and then this wave 4, and then this wave 5 here, and then we'll probably somewhere up here, I'm not quite sure the target area, and then we'll after 5 waves we need to pull back anyway. So that's really what we're looking at on the tick chart. 100 ticks. Let's just get in a bit more data. Okay, so it's from this low here that we want to start counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, ABC for 2, and then we're moving up here for the third wave. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. I guess if you're trading long here, when we talked about this on Friday, then you would be exiting at the 7,000 at that point, I would imagine. So I'm just going to remove that. And yeah, well, this is the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So this green one can pull back to that. So you need to be a little bit careful about that. But at the same time, 7,000 is a big number, of course, and it acts like a magnet. So the distance the market went up here is probably roughly the distance it will go below. And I would imagine that's 5 waves here. So we can look for some sort of A wave, B wave, and C wave of the same length. So we may not come all the way down to here, but we need to just acknowledge the points of interest, which is first one, which is the 38.2%, which is down here, and that's the wave 4. So we can put that in here, and we can just understand that. So if you're going to go, if you're holding long, then you'll need to leave the stops out of the way of both of these wave 4s here. And yeah, well, we'll see how far wave 5 goes to the upside here as well. That will be interesting. And then we'll have that wave 4. The wave 4, this blue, if this one doesn't pull down, if this wave 4 doesn't pull down to this wave 4, then you're going to have a bit of a trend line from that point. So from here, like to here, somewhere like that. Do you know what I mean? And then you can work this wave 4 on that trend line as well. But for the time being, we'll just plonk it there. So in a nutshell, Be careful, you need to take a longer term view, so days at least, if you're going to get higher up here for this, because 7,000 is a big number and the market's going to be swinging in that place there for a little while. Okay, so just to recap, the market, we're looking for the markets to continue higher, but they are correcting at the moment in a series of wave fours. That means the banks will be doing much the same. So with this CBA here, we could expect a top here soonish. There was quite a nice volume, but it was lower than the previous day. So we can sort of expect at some point CBA to start having a wave 4 here across the 100, but at the same time, I mean, we can look at it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and finish at that point and come down from there. That's possible, but looking at the big tech stocks and you know, and Berkshire Hathaway, you know, so some of those low volatility stocks have got to move up as well. So we'll look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside at this point. And over to the resources. So iron ore has been pushing up quite strong. Pretty hard to understand that really, because I was watching a documentary on the steel mills in China, and you know, a lot of them are closing down. A lot of them have got so much stockpile already that they, you know, that they can't move. You know, there's so many issues in China now. You know, every documentary I watch, it's just negative. You know, it could be about EV cars, the scams that they did with all the EV cars, and there's EV cars sitting, you know, electric cars sitting in paddocks, thousands and thousands of them, and they're just sort of destroying them because of the government grants. And the steel mills are going through, you know, everything that you sort of, the banks and the property market, and you know, I mean, everything's there. So I don't know why iron ore's going up, unless we've got I think we're selling some to India now, aren't we, or something as well. I don't know this. I don't know the fundamentals of why the market is moving up. From this high though to this low, the 50-60% mark is at that 800 there. So that's going to be a bit of a stopping point for that. So we want to see that top out, and then we'll see it pull back at that point. And yeah, we can see the stochastics moving up in line with that, so they're sort of peaking at the moment. So the time it hits that, so I just think we just allow it to hit that. You know, it means that iron ore stocks will push up, but we're more interested in the the pullback here being corrective or impulsive, because if they're corrective, that means we can just go long over here for it, no matter what the fundamentals are, you know. But that's what we need for it to play out with, and that's going to come, you know, that will be there. So we'll just take that on board when we look at these stocks. One of the interesting things with US BHP here is that, because I could count down, just to recap a bit from this top here, we could count down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. To me, that's just a beautiful wave structure of 5 waves, and then we've got this move and this and this. So we could look at this from B going down to wave C here. We could look at that as already being in play here. Now, it looks a little bit weird and scrumped up and stuff, but some of the other markets were sort of scrunched up coming into here. So we could look at all of this as wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here. So one of the things that I mentioned is taking this top out here, that would sort of cement that wave C in there at that point, unless we look at this as look at this as 5 waves down, then an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here, and then come down. You know, that's also possible as well. So we could look at something like that, just to keep that in the back of our minds. So it doesn't really matter doesn't really matter if this is going to be the case, or we've got wave C in and we're looking for 5 waves and we're going to be bullish after that. We still need to wait for 5 waves up, and then whatever the case may be, and then we just wait for the ABC pattern. And, you know, once we got that B wave in, then we can just look to go long at that point. And if it's breached, it means that we've done all the right things at the right time, you know. But yeah, the fundamentals for iron ore, maybe I'm obviously, if I'm missing something, if somebody's got any idea why it's going up, that would be great. Maybe because the US dollar's topped out, you know. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, fundamentally, if China's, you know, China handles most of the steel in the, you know, steel products, a big chunk of that. So yeah, and it's just not looking good over there. I don't know if you've seen a documentary on steel mills in China. You could Google search it in YouTube and have a bit of a look at it, but they're closing down left, right and centre. Okay, so, and they're fully stocked. They've got so much stock. Okay, so that's BHP there. So our local BHP, we're going to do the same thing as well. We know that the market was going up because we could see the stochastics here, and, you know, we could force the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here as well and put that in here. But could it be, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 over here and go down for 5? So we really wanted, before we move in, we really wanted to have a strong case to move in on technically, you know, in terms of Elliott and volume and support and resistance and all those sort of things. And I just don't think we're there yet. So yeah, I'd need to see a classic trading levels pattern on the 40. That's because it can just hit this and fail and move down. Do you know what I mean? And like to go long before a big number, I just know that it's not the right thing to do. You know, it's not, doesn't give you an edge, so to speak. It'll throw you off the edge. So we just need to be, we want that support, we want a good impulse wave and so on. And we may get it, we may not. That's it. Otherwise we might be looking to go short. Who knows? We'll see. And Rio as well. So with Rio here, it's the same thing. We could look at this as an A and a B and a C here for the B wave. It's, you know, stochastics is moving up. We're not really getting a nice impulse wave here. It's all sort of squashing up here a little bit as well. I don't see any long trade here for this, but at the same time, because it's going up, I don't see any short trade either, you know. So we just really need to wait and see how it plays out. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on anything. Let's just gather more information and work the intraday mode, and it's what we're doing with this is FMG here, where we're counting up as possible 1 and 2, bit messy in here, and then 3, 4, 5, and then for 1, and then for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and just looking for a new high here. We haven't got that new high in here yet. So what does that mean? Well, the first thing normally is that kind of looks like a bit 5 wave-ish up there, but didn't make a new high. So perhaps wave 4 is over here for this. A mistake could have been made in here. We're just hoping that we were going to get a nice 5 waves, and then we'll look for an ABC pattern here. And then we could go long above the B wave. That would be a nice safe situation at that point, but we're not there yet as well. I didn't want to go long in any of this because we could just get trapped, and yeah, not a good look. Okay, over to gold. So with US spot gold, we were looking for a little move up. It's slowed down a little bit. Just have a look at it here. It does appear that it wants to go sort of higher, as I mentioned the other day. So it's still doing all those sort of things, not really stretching out into a nice thing. But because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, 1 and 2, and maybe 1 and 2, it's all getting a bit scrunchy in here. I'll have to give that some thought. It doesn't really, it's not displaying a nice third wave in here, you know. But it's pushing up, so we'll just stay with it. As long as it stays above that 750, it's positive. 1750, it's be positive. If it comes down below that, then we've got a problem. Well, maybe not. Maybe we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 1 and 2, and a short 3, 4, 5, and then an ABC. Yeah. Anyway, it won't be a good look under the 1750. So what do we do with this one here? I mean, do we look at this as wave 1 coming down here, and then wave 2 here, then wave 3, 4, and 5 coming down? I mean, to put that wave 5 there, we talked about it last week, but it's just a little bit short, isn't it, compared to the other ones? It's kind of like, well, something's not right somewhere. So I think here, I mean, it was up on lower volume than the previous bar, so it's kind of a little bit, a bit of hot air, you know. But we'll see. I think that we just wait for the 20 to become a nice solid support, and we can see gold elsewhere, and then move into this. But as it stands at the moment, so I'm just checking this internal structure here, but everything seems to be okay. Yeah, I can't go in just yet. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat with these sort of things, so I just want it to be the right setup. I'd rather make less money but have a safer trade. You know, that's the trade-off. The money's in the turn, of course, but getting it right, it can take 2 to 3 times to get a turn right, you know, and that takes a bit of focus and frustration and all sorts of things. So we'll just chill on that, and over to the Australian dollar, but this is the US dollar here. So with the US dollar, keeping it short, we were looking down for blue wave 1, cross for blue wave 2, then down for green 1 and green 2, and then we're going down for green 3. So I have to call all this wave 1 here and 2 here. We had that sharp move up, but it does appear that it's in 3 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, sort of okay-ish at that point. This move down here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we should have a little pullback in that point. So you could sell it at that point, or you could wait for the B wave low there on that sort of thing. But the takeaway here is that we're still in the trend to the downside here, so that's looking quite good. And that means that the euro should be pushing up, and the Australian dollar should be pushing up as well. But you can see how this has got see how that's going to push back. That means that the Aussie can push down as well. So that means that the Aussie can give us a little ABC pattern here before moving higher at this point. So I'm just going to put this in here. I've removed this count here, but I'm not that happy with it. I was trying to line it up with the US dollar count in a mirror reverse situation, but it just doesn't look very good. So I've gone this way with it, but I don't know if this is right either. So yeah, so this would be sort of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to finish off from here, and looking at this as 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third. I don't know if that's right, but I think the important thing is to understand is that we should be reacting from the 70 cents again, but the longer term picture is that, well, you could buy it back here if you wanted to, you know, depending on how many positions. These are all little all very small trades, so we can keep a really wide stop under the 69. I mean, they're just part positions. So, but we want to be looking to build in, you know, above the level here. Once it gets support, you know, we want that little first high above the level and so on. So we want to be building over here, but we want support first. But you could get it on the pullback here for that if you wanted that. So yeah, so 2 things here. I'm not sure about the count. It really hasn't cemented in for me, and I haven't sort of seen it. I either sort of see it and I know it, and it's confirmed in my mind, and I'm confident with it, or I'm sort of in the guessing game with it, and I'm in the guessing game with this a little bit. So yeah, but the important step here is, as long as it stays above 69, is positive. And we'll be waiting for it to find support on the 70 to build in on the safe side. And the other one we want to have a bit of a look at is the the 2-year government short-term bonds. So no real change here. We can see the stochastics pulling down. We're looking for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave back down to 38.2% retracement level before seeing a move up in this. They're talking about interest rates sort of topping out this time next year, late next year. Probably about right too by looking at this. But still, I mean, the important thing here though is that I can count 5 waves up here. So yes, they can come back, but 5 waves up here would give you a pullback and then go up again, you know. Anyway, I'll have a look at the longer term ones and keep working on the counts and so on. But for the meantime, this is really where we are. So anyway, just keep a bit of an eye on it, not a biggie. Alrighty, that's it. Cheers.